Hello there, my Bat-talion and viewers. I'm the Knight of Arcane, and today we're finishing off the Ben 10 block with something you all voted on. Since the original 1K special was going to be related to Mad Ben 10, I set up a poll on what to do with the 5 canon Mad Ben aliens. And you all voted we return to Whitney Parker's shop and turn these aliens into Mech Armor. It was a lot of work to get 5 done for this, but I love how they all came out in the end. Anyways, let's check out the Mad Alien Mech Armors, shall we? I don't usually get a whole group coming in at once asking for my services. Think most either follow common courtesy, not wanting to overwork me, or usually they want to make sure my mech armors are legit and not going to have any bugs or defects. Which is fair if it was anyone else, but a Whitney Parker original is guaranteed to have no issues. At least once it leaves the shop. Before, this stuff can happen. But this group, a very cocky bunch, also one was Cockney, but most were Australian, at least sounding, looking like some punks from that really good video game that they recently made a movie version of that was really bad, unfortunately. They wanted to test me and make 5 armors for them, and to get them done in a month, trying to set a bet with me that I couldn't do it. And if I could, they'd double my payment. Joke's on them, I easily got all 5 done on time. Plus getting some of those other armors we talked about last time you were here done. So made quite a pretty penny. One main thing they asked was to put some gray and orange in all 5 mech armors to show they were on a team, and each had a main color they wanted on top of these 2. Pretty easy. So the leader, honestly surprised he was the leader with how short and svelte he was, wanted a big mech that looked extremely strong, obviously overcompensating for his own frame, and wanted me to use this nice teal color on his mech. An interesting thing he wanted was his mech to be able to shoot out crystals that he could use as cover, attacks, or to incapacitate foes. Which I sort of did. It's a synthetic crystal chemical concoction that can quickly harden upon release, so close enough. For the silhouette, added these crystal-like fins on the back, and put a lot of spikes on it, matching the look these guys had, with his having a spike mohawk on top of it. Plus gave it a retractable sword on the arms with a plasma edge. Felt more right than anything else. The leader, I actually forgot his name. Maybe it was Yuri? He looked like a Yuri. He was begrudgingly happy with the results, even though he lost the bet. If he wasn't cocky, he'd have known my armors are the best for a reason. The next member, he was a beast, and who I thought was really in charge based on his muscles. Though his anchor issues were probably the reason he wasn't the leader. But the guy, John, Jake, I think it started with a J, wanted some tiger inspirations for his mech, and to have a singular blade on each wrist. Kind of like that one superhero with the free claws that come out of his wrists. That was recently in another movie that's been doing really well in the theaters. Still an interesting concept he chose, and I gave it a plasma edge too, since I felt it should just be out the whole time. I do think the guy was probably a furry, since he wanted it to, partially look like a tiger. Especially since he wanted it to be this crimson maroon color instead of orange or white. But I don't care. If he takes it to a furry convention and then a bunch of furries come asking for mech suits with animal inspirations, I'm not going to complain. That's good money there. Wasn't hard to make it look jacked when the J guy was already jacked, but gave it bigger shoulder pads for fun. He also wanted a mohawk that could be used as a weapon, so I made sure to put some sharpened metal on top. Kind of like a saw blade. For some reason, he wanted to arm wrestle with it after I finished it up and was showing it off to them. He was all like, "Let me tell you something, Whitney Parker. I can beat any mech armor you make in an arm wrestling match easily." And I was like, "Bet?" If you're wondering, yes, I beat him. Easily. Like, he couldn't even move the suit's arm. I don't know what he was thinking. But the fact he almost fainted from not breathing and overexerting himself probably means he doesn't get enough oxygen up there in his brain. They've been just giving me free money with these mech armors. Hope he has a good time at a furry con with it. While John was definitely a furry, I do think the next member was into some other stuff. They just called themselves N, and said they wanted it to be pretty normal with abilities. Okay, little lame, especially compared to the rest, but it's their money. Then she asked for it to be mostly gray, wanted more spikes than the rest, which not sure if she had the most or not, wasn't counting, a few random tubes, a face that looked like a furnace, some big feet and legs, and said she wanted to look like a furnace mixed with an Iron Maiden. I honestly don't think I have words for this. Her mech was definitely the most robotic looking of the bunch, and I'm a little concerned on what other activities she might do with this. Especially the anime-like grin she had when explaining her design idea. You probably know the one. But yeah, she did want it to shoot even stronger plasma from its hands, but to also be able to do it from the face. Pretty dangerous, but doable. The chest, easy. Knees, interesting and unique. And from... you know what? Let's move on. Overall, this mech looks buff and could easily crush a skull. Even more so than the others, based on looks alone, in all honesty. Look, I get some interesting clientele all the time. Does mean she's one I'll have to keep an eye on. Surprisingly, she'll be the only one from the entire group I have to watch the most. Especially compared to Jake, but I actually don't know where I was going with that. Granted, if she does frequent the places I do think she does, I won't be the only one with my eye on her. Though they should be careful with her, even if she's not in the mech armor. Also, especially with all her spikes, you should make sure having an eye on her doesn't result in you losing an eye to her. Quickly moving on. So for the fourth armor, pretty sure the guy's name was Chuck. He was shorter than the leader, but he didn't want to overcompensate for his small size, and wanted something that fit his frame and size. Good for the short king. Body positivity and all that. He liked those motorcycle helmets. You know the ones. That look like war helmets and sometimes have a B-plug on the top of them. He wanted the mech's head to pretty much have one, and to have the eyes look like goggles. Said he wanted to look like a cool biker, even if he wasn't on a motorcycle. Which he said he wanted to still be able to ride while in the mech. Interesting, since it can fly, but we have our hobbies, so mech armor biker, no problem. But one thing he wanted was to be able to shoot acid out of his mech, and to be able to store stuff in a trans-dimensional storage system. That did take a few days to get done. Accidentally teleported myself to a few dimensions, and found this facility that was storing a bunch of weird creatures that I kind of want to make some mech armors based off them. The guy I met there was cool. I think his name was Matt? Marcus Flyer? IDK. He had a cute duck though. But I did get that trans-dimensional storage operational, and put the portal to it in the mouth and hands. Though if he comes back for a tune-up, might also put it in the chest as well. Plus he can vacuum up stuff and then convert it into an explosive plasma to shoot out at people. This little armor was fun. Should probably retry some of this stuff in a suit more my size, cause it could be pretty useful in a fight. Our last armor was tricky to say the least. Didn't help that this tall glass of water kept coming around to distract me. I think her boss wanted her to distract me so I'd lose the bet. Well played. But I work on like 3 hours of sleep, so while she slept after our fun, I still had the energy to work on the mech armor. Maybe shouldn't have brought that up. Oh well. But with her being around, I got to know a little bit about her. Her name's Colleen. She's the only one of their group who's actually from Australia. She likes wandering through the desert and the Australian outback, has a tattoo of a peacock on her lower back, and... got distracted there and started to spew out too many facts. But she, has a lot of interests with sizes and height. So much so that she asked me if I could make her mech armor grow to be taller than a building. I looked her straight in the eyes in the afterglow of her trying to distract me and told her, "Do you really think I could bend the laws of physics and the universe to allow a mech armor to grow taller and taller? Of course I can. Easily." Might have exaggerated how easy it would be, but a week wasn't that long to figure it out. Oh right, the mech armor. Besides the ability to grow and shrink back to normal height, I put these plasma blades on the arms of the mech to do back arm slashes, and put a giant one right on the top of the head because I thought it would look cool. It does, and it's practical. Not like the ones I put on the side of the head, but those ones for sure are for aesthetic. Plus there's these shoulder pad things that kind of just look like I put spiked wheels on it, that feel very punk rock, and she loved them. Colleen's mech is probably my favorite, and not just because of my bias with her. I'm still in touch with her. She says her group is loving the mech armor and the attention they've been getting, though she might fly solo soon. But with the attention on them, I'm for sure going to get a few new kinds of customers. She's cool, but also kind of sweet. She was actually worried when I teleported myself to those other universes while working on Chuck's armor. What's with that look on your face? That look. Honestly, not sure what it means. But yeah, those mad lads gave me some good money and challenges. Can rest a while and not have to worry about customers. So might work on some side projects. Wonder what other universes are out there, and what I could find. Plus, who left that note on my back during my travels? DW. Well, don't be a stranger, and be a bit careful on the way out. I'm working on some booby traps, and well, they occasionally activate even when I'm in the shop. So just be careful where you step and all, or you'll get encased in my bubblegum or toothpaste traps. Though both taste really good. And that was the Mad Ben 10 aliens as mech armors. Energy and Waybig are my personal favorites, though I do want to design mechs off the Waybads also now. But what did you think of them? Let me know in the comments, along with more Ben 10 aliens I should turn into mech armor, other series I should turn into mech armor, and other things I should do with Ben 10. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the rest of the Ben 10 block, where I did a variety episode with suggestions from the other artists, and the return to our stand videos with the second round of Ben 10 aliens as stands. And if you want more Whitney, we have the Pokemon as Mech Armors, which was the first part of our 1K special, and her Gummy Goo mech in the Gummy Goo variety episode. And if you liked what you saw, then leave a like, and subscribe to join our growing little Arcane town, to be in the know for future videos, polls, and events like this one. Thank you all again for the 1,000 subs, and let's continue to grow and expand while having fun and making some sweet art. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later!